Let's do this. Welcome, game developers, to Doug Teaches Godot. Yes. Okay, so we're going to be making a very simple platformer. We will add static meshes and stuff like that later on down the line. Right now, we're going to create a base, a player cube, and that's about it. This is basically an overview of what's gonna go down. So when I created in the Godot, if you start Godot, I'll just do it again. If Godot, because I'm using 4.1, we'll be greeted to this dialog box. So to create a new project, click on Create, and I'm just gonna call this Simple Cube. No, Cuber. Platformer. Huh? Ooh. No. Yeah, I'll override it. Fuck it. Okay. So. But. No, not input. Oh, I'm in the 2D viewport. Wait, what? Yeah. How do you wait? How do you get to 3D? So if by default you're here, that's fine. I was by default I was over here, not in the script view or any of that. We'll get to that later. And by default, I'm just gonna go back to one viewport. By default, and I gotta go. Well, I just gotta do this. All right. Where are you? Perspective. There you are. So, by default, you should see something like this. You're in the perspective viewport. You have no idea what the fuck is going on. So, I'll have a timestamp saying when this tutorial literally starts or whatever the fuck. Because you might be wondering, Doug, why are you teaching Godot? I mean, why not Unity? Well, for starters, I fucking hate the Unity engine. I use the Unity engine, and the only thing I'll say that's positive about the Unity engine is that it's better to work with the Unity engine than it is with the Source engine. And the Source engine, oh god, fuck that game engine. Anyway, or maybe not. I haven't touched the Source engine in over close to 15 years, so maybe it's gotten better. I'm not gonna hold my breath for it. But with Godot, yes, it's not as powerful as Unity, but like Godot actually, GDScript, its main code base, is heavily based on Python, which is and for those who don't know, Python is a very useful programming language to know. If you want to work with Google, YouTube, Reddit, 4chan, you name it. Like they all use, like Spotify, their code base is Python. It's a very good coding language to learn. I mean, yes, C++ is the standard for game development, but like it's also very helpful to learn Python. And this game engine actually heavily bases its code base on Python and it's very easy to pick up and play. Unlike Unreal where they toss you into the wolves and you can't make new variables. You got to make pointers to variables. Or rather, hold on. When you're working with Unreal Engine 5, right, and you want to create an actor in in Visual Studio, you can't just create like the collision type or shit like that. You actually have to create pointers to those types of variables. You can still have integers and shit like that, but like if you're trying to say like, oh, I need a camera, you can't create a camera from scratch. You got to create a pointer to that camera class. So whereas Godot, it's basically Python from the jump. So that being said, let's talk about the control schemes. So right now, if your mouse is in the grid area and you right click, you can rotate the camera. Left click will click and drag. And if you hold both, nothing happens. But if you right click and you want to like move the camera via the WASD keys, you can do that. And if you want to move the camera faster while you're right clicking and moving in a direction, hold down Shift, and you can see I'm moving a lot faster. So what's this tutorial going to encompass? Like I said, this is going to be an overview of the control scheme and stuff like that. Now, you know me, and now if you've watched any of my tutorials in Unreal Engine, then you know I like working with 4 viewports. You can click on this view to actually have 4 viewports, or if you're a hotkey whore, like I'm trying to be, like I really want to be my best to be a hotkey whore, and a cheap one at that, you want to hit the control and hit 4. So that way it gives you 4 viewports. Now, I typically like this viewport being the top viewport, so I'm going to look for top. And this one's going to be front. And this one's going to be right. And you're fine being at perspective. So, how do we actually get the player cube and all that shit? So, for starters, we can have it all be in one level, though that's fucking stupid. You don't want to do that. Like Unreal and like Unity, Unreal has its blueprints, Unity has its prefabs, Godot has nodes, and you can click other node, and you really want this to be a node. This is going to be the main scene, so I'm just going to double click on node, and then I'm going to highlight that and hit F2. I'm just going to call this main. I'm also going to save this down, because we have a folder here for main. I'm going to save this down. And yeah, I'm good with that. Just save that down. And I'm just going to move this up here. Actually, you know what? Cancel. So how do we get our base cube without, or rather, how do we get our base platform? Okay, so in order to do that, we could technically do it in here, but we can't. We don't want to. That would be that would be fucking stupid. You'd want to have like that called whenever. So we're gonna have another blueprint. Instead of calling it blueprint, we're gonna have another node. But we can't just put it in this scene. What we can do is we can open up a new scene and then stick another node in there. So how do we do that? So excuse me. So you see this little plus icon right here? Adds a new scene. Click that. And this one we're going to add you guessed it. We get to add another node. Now, you can hit, instead of hitting that plus, just hold down Control, hit A. And fuck you, phone. Seriously, shut up. Shut up, phone. Shut up. You stupid bitch. Okay, so in this case scenario, we're going to need a rigid body. So I'm going to type in rigid. Okay. It's not this one. Wait, what? Why? No, it's not this one. We have to scroll down a little bit. It's the red one. What's the difference? We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. Anyway, let's just double click on this rigid body. I'll just call this, I'll just call this floor. What's with the exclamation point? We'll get to that later too, because it essentially needs it needs a shape and a collision shape. Isn't that what rigid body is all about? No. Yes, for Godot's purposes, rigid body allows physics to be toggled. And we'll get to that later. Anyway, so let's add a new thing. Control A. And this one will be, we're going to type in mesh. You want to use mesh instance 3D, not multi-mesh, just mesh 3D. Hit that. Now it's going to ask what kind of shape are we looking for. In this case scenario, I'm just going to hit empty. I'm going to click on empty, and I will get I'll use a box mesh bucket. So here we have our little box mesh. Yay! And I want my viewports, damn it. So top, front, and you are right. And you're the only one that's perspective. So we have our stupid little viewport. Stupid little viewport. Our stupid little mesh. I'm just gonna go to transform real fast, and I will also show off. Is this it? No, no. Oh, that's snap. Fuck. I'm trying to remember where world. Well, I mean, that's cool for the color. Select all, lock. Let's rotate. Yeah, local space. Okay. So, um, I'll just uh, okay. So, a couple of things that you should know when you're dealing with movement in 3D space. Now, there are two spaces. There's local space and world space. You can actually toggle them in the blueprint in the node editor slash scene editor, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna hit the it's E to rotate, right? Yeah, E. I'll rotate, and then I'm gonna hit W to move. And as you can see, nothing. The arrows are still the same, but that's mainly because I am in local space. But if I hit T, T for Thomas, I'm in world space now, and I can actually, and as you can see, the arrows correspond, or they move in relation to the orientation of said mesh. So if I move this here, hit W again, it's all over the place. But if I hit T for Thomas, we revert back to the original. So I'm going to undo to get it back. I'm also going to scale this out. You can't, I'm going to, it's not S, R to scale out. So I'm just going to move that out. And I'm going to move that on the Z. Hit shift to move back faster because I really want that whole kit and caboodle. I'm gonna go to X. Why is Y up and down? Because Godot, like Blender and Unity, follow the same axes. What do you mean? X is not X. Z. Whereas Unreal uses the X-axis as forward and back, Godot, fucking Blender, and that piece of shit Unity, Z is not forward and back. Z is forward and back. X is side to side, and Y is up and down for Godot's purposes. So now, we're not done here. We actually need to get this thing a collision. I thought that's what rigid body was for. Nope. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to hit Control A. And, shit. What was it? Do I type in? I think it's shape? Collision shape 3D. Now, it's going to be looking for a shape. Godot. So, what kind of shape are we going to give it? You guessed it. Gee, I don't know. Are we going to do Hunnle Guggle Binging Bungus Bungus? Is that what you want to call a cylinder? Yes. Huggle Bungle Bingy Bingy Bungus. We're going to use new box shape. What? Yeah, that's the thing. See, it assumes that it's a normal cube, but seeing as how we scaled the shit out of our other box, out of this box, we gotta scale this out. Okay, how are we going to do that? What do you mean, how are we going to do that? We have the X, we scale it. Oh, really? Yes. Can we use, like, control or something like that? What do you mean? Hold on. Okay, so I really want to snap this. So I'm going to do my best to snap it. How are we going to do that? I'm going to hold down Control. I'm going to click, and I'm going to move like that. You see how... So we have our snappage. But we got to increase the snapping, or the grid size. So to do that, we have to go into Transform. And we want to configure the snap. So instead of translation shape being at 1, I'm going to try 0.5 and see if that works any better. Otherwise, I'm just going to do it as close as I can to the cube. So... Mm. We collab this, vert, flip that there. And now we gotta do the same thing for the Z, but I'm not going to be as precise, and I don't care if the game says, because there will be an error generated saying that the collision's not as precise or whatever, and will not function like is as intended. I think that should be this error right here. Yep, node configuration warning. It's basically complaining saying that the collision's not as precise. Is there a way we can, fix that? We can, but not in this video. And now I gotta do this. What the hell are you doing? That's my best Shy Guy impression. Oh, okay. Okay. So this is essentially said, done, and over with. So I'm gonna hit Control S to save this down. Do I want to put this in this? Do I want to actually have a different folder for this? What do you think? I don't know. What will having different folders do? Organizational purposes. Then no. Okay. Save. So now let's go into main. How do we put this motherfucker in here? Well, I just did, but I want to just click and drag, dumbass. I'm going to delete it. Wait, what? I'm going to delete it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-A to add some shit that we made in the fucking other scene. Where's the floor? There you are. I don't know why I said what I said or did all of that, but I'm so glad I did it. Alright. So let's say we want to look at this in-game, right? And we want to hit play. I'll just select current. Why do we have a gray screen? See, we need two things to actually make this work. We need a camera and a directional light. So, in main, I'm going to hit Control-A, and I'm going to hide, I think I just type in directional light, 3D, So I double click, and now I have the sun. I'm going to hit W to move this up. Here's a very weird idea. Does anybody want to know, do you want to know which way the directional light's pointing? It's pointing forward. How do you know that? Could it be the arrow? Well, duh, asshole. Yeah. Anyway, so if we want to make this, light work on the thing, we want to rotate this down. So I'm going to hit the E key and rotate this on the X-axis, and boom, we already have the light that we want. But I also want to go into floor again, because I do not like the material. I'm just going to go to Instance Mesh. Just double click. Nope. Where is the surface material override? There you are. Just hit empty. I'm going to go to standard material. Then I'm just going to double click. And you want to go to Albedo. Alfredo. What? I don't just it's been a tiring day. It's not. It's Wednesday at 11:24 in the morning. I'm in New York. Fuck you. So I'm good with this color. So wait, are we gonna do anything with the materials and stuff like that? Yeah, we will. Matter of fact, before we even see, I'm kind of torn. I'll ask in the comments section. Do you want to tackle player movement first, or do you want to tackle like how to make materials and shit like that? I'll ask in the comments section. Just put in the comments section what you want. Because we can just go into script and start hammering that out. Anyway, So I'm gonna control save just to make sure we have the changes. And now we need a camera. We could, well, I could attach it to the player. You know, I'll do that now. Let's get to the, let's start working on the player character. We're gonna add a new scene. You're gonna hit node. That means control A. We're gonna get a rigid body. Oh wait, no, we don't necessarily need a rigid body, do we? Worst case scenario. You know what? No, I'm just gonna type in mesh and then mesh instance 3D, and we will call this player. And the shape is gonna be a cube. Where are you, cube? Box mesh. Let's give this another material. Let's give this a material. Albrado, you're gonna be yellow. Then we want to give this a collision shape. So control A, shape. If I can spell properly. Shape, collision shape 3D. Not shapecast, just collision shape. This will be a cube, or box. And guess what? We don't have to edit the, we don't have to scale it out or whatever the fuck, because it's already in the same dimensions as a cube. And you know what? Top, front, and right. Finally, we need to add a camera on this bitch. So control A, camera. We're gonna use camera 3D. Create that. And here's our camera. I hit W, move this back. Move this back a little more. Move this up. Let's do, yeah, right about there. So let's save this down. Yeah. Player folder. So that way whatever whatever things we add onto the player, we can just save it into the player folder. What are you talking about? Only provides collision shape derived node. Please only use a child theory, 3D fucking static body, rigid body. Ah, fuck. Alright, fine. Want rigid body? No, I'm not gonna add it. Fuck it. If I need to add it, if I need to add rigid body, I'll do it later. So right now, we just need to, let's add our player. We have our player. We have, the player's inside the cube. We can't have that. So let's put that there. To go into the player. Let's go to the collision shape. Yeah, you're good. I was just double checking. So let's play. Why is the floor falling? Floor is falling because we have rigid body attached. If we wanted to use, to be fair, I could have just used instead of that, like I could have just replaced it with a static body, but like. Like I just wanted to make sure all we understand that rigid body means physics objects. So how do we do that? We go into deactivation, and I think, yeah, it's freezing. Freeze right here. We turn that on, and then we play again. Boom. Stops. Save this down, and there you have it. We're going to end it here. Okay, what are we going to do next week? And when is this going to come out? Probably, well, no, most likely Wednesdays. Because I'm still trying to figure out what people want to learn in Blender, too, I guess. Anyway, but, like, we'll end this here. Next week, I'll ask the comments section Do you want to like import your own like materials, or do you want to get started with player controls and then do materials later on? Leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. End it here, narrator. And there you have it, game developers. Tune in next week for Doug Teaches Godot. Yes.